Good evening, everybody. Boom, boom, kaboom. It's Newf Nukem in the room. Yes, it's Newf Nukem with a few random thoughts. Just wanted to do a quick little podcast to just kind of everybody here because obviously some stuff been going down behind the scenes. And if you haven't heard already, big night for the podcast for the channel, I guess, tomorrow night. And we'll start with that first. First of all, for those who are not in the know, Gaming After Dark officially hits its finale tomorrow night. Okay, so tomorrow night at 7:30 Mountain Time, 9:30 Eastern, Gaming After Dark more or less sort of shuts down, at least in the way that we know it. We'll explain that. So I'm not taking sort of a sabbatical and a big hiatus, and I'm not leaving podcast forever, to the dismay and the of some people in the community. So to those people, sorry to disappoint you, but I'm sticking around. But Gaming After Dark will be kind of we'll just do the podcast on a case-by-case basis, on a necessary basis. So all that's really happening is I just want to get out of the weekly and the daily grind of podcasting. I'm just kind of burned out with it all, and I just kind of want to step away a little bit. And I just want to take the channel in sort of a different direction. Maybe things go great, maybe they don't. At this point, it doesn't really matter. Bottom line is, I'm happy with things. I'm very happy with my panel that I've had at Gaming After Dark. So a big shout out to them, and a big shout out to all the people who have supported me. I mean, for well over 10 years strong, pretty much since 2014. And some people are in the chat right now, including an old buddy of mine who I haven't seen in a very long time. Well, Game Complainers, first guy in the room, you are my brother. You are also a member of Gaming After Dark, so hello to you. We got Pink Piggles in the house as well. You can't have the Game Complainers without some Pink Piggly in here. Buddha Time, a guy who is a long-time friend. We played games together many years ago. It has been a very long time, Buddha, but Buddha would come on and watch a lot of my podcasts in the past. So shout out to him, man. Great dude. I miss you too, man. We'll have to try to hook up for some games for sure. A hockey fan is in the house. Stevie Mack is here, man. You guys are incredible. Draven Narrow is here. These are names that, especially over the last 2 or 3 years, a lot of you guys that are in this chat are names that I'm quite familiar with. And don't think that I don't give a shit and I don't care, because I really do. It's something from the bottom of my heart that I always have cared about you guys. And I care about the community, But the biggest betrayal is it's not to take the direct shots from the guys you expect. It's the backstabbings and the shit that happens behind the scenes with people that you once called friend, the people that you once trusted, people that you thought had your fucking back, and they turn around and they're just as scummy as the people that they sworn about for years. My channel and my podcasts have always been primarily like multi-console focused. I don't do much PC. People know that because that's not really my jam. But I've always talked about Xbox primarily, and PlayStation and Nintendo and stuff like that. And I'll start by saying that I love all three of those companies dearly. They provided some of the best games and experiences of my entire life. And I can pick out so many moments and so many great games on all of those three companies that have defined my hobby, defined who I am to some degree. You know what I mean? They're amazing. But do they have faults? Absolutely. I can tell you that all three companies are largely different from the companies that we grew up with as kids, and certainly different than the companies that we've kind of gotten to know pretty much over the past over 10 years, almost 15 per se. Shout out again to the chat, because we got some awesome people, including Yodani Kozada. Yodani, good to see you, man. Thanks for popping over and checking this one out. Shout out to Cold Eastwood and the crew over at XNC, and especially to my brother Mag, who had to leave the podcast early tonight due to a family issue. We hope that all is well, Mag, and I know that you will update me on the status and situation as soon as we have more information. So shout out to the Mag, another brother that not only was a podcast panel member with me on Gaming After Dark just a few years back, but his channel has grown and blossomed on its own. He is now on one of the biggest, Xbox-focused channels out there with Colt Eastwood on X and C on Monday night. So congratulations, both those guys. Especially, shout out to them and hitting some great numbers and great followers and all that stuff. See, that's the thing. I have nothing but love and respect for everybody. Do I agree with the narratives, or do I agree with all the content that other, creators put out there? I certainly don't. But the difference with me, right? And here's the deal, guys. I'm no different than anybody here. I'm no different than the people that's in the chat. I'm a nobody, right? I'm just a regular human being that got into this because of my love for gaming. And I always thought I was alone in the universe for many years. I had no friends that they played games, but they didn't care about games the way you or I care about games, that actively make this a passion and actively spend thousands of dollars a year, that just love gaming. We love the community. We love to chat about all these topics and all these great games and everything else that comes with it. But I'm no different than nobody else. But the one thing I have stayed true is I've always tried to be truthful with everybody and upfront. What you see is what you get. I don't put on a show. I don't put on a facade. I'm not here trying to please anybody. My channel is so fucking small, so small that nobody gives a shit. You know what I mean? There's no corporate people coming out here and jumping behind my podcast or worrying about what a little old Newf has to say. And I have no problem with that. You know what? The best part about podcasting and the funnest part, it's been over a decade. The best part is seeing you guys in the chat, having great conversations, having some great laughs. And the best of all is hearing phenomenal stories, hearing stories from guys like our good friend, the wise old gamer, who told me that without my podcast and without my sense of humor, without all the stuff that my panel and my podcast have brought to him, that he would have had a hard time when he was going through his cancer. And thank God he's in remission and he's looking and sounding better than ever. So thank God to that. And shout out to the wise old gamer, who will be, by the way, our guest tomorrow night on the finale, right? But I'm no different than nobody else. But here is one difference. And shout out Talos, Ray in the chat, my good brother. What's happening, bro? The difference between me and other people in the community, I suppose, is some of the people that I've always had issues with, okay? And a lot of them came from the PlayStation side of the community, because many of them were they moved the goalposts. They were very toxic. They were very anti-anything Xbox, but hardly ever give Xbox any credit. Those guys, you know what? If you look at it, I've never been friends with those guys. I don't go to their podcasts. I don't follow the majority of them online. And I don't interact. You know what I mean? I haven't flip-flopped. Everybody says I'm a flip-flopper. I don't understand how I flip-flop when I've openly said time and time again that I prefer Xbox. I love my Series X, despite its flaws, despite the shit that's happened with Xbox and Microsoft, that I love my Series X. I love the controller. I love the ecosystem. I love the friends that I have there for the most part. I've enjoyed Xbox. Xbox has kind of given me everything. The one thing I don't like about Xbox, and I've said this time and time again, and you probably already know the answer, I don't like Game Pass. Game Pass is great. It is amazing value. Again, Game Pass is great. It is amazing value. Quote that now, okay? But it's not for everybody, and it's not for me. It's not the way I've consumed games my whole life, and it's not how I choose to consume games. Now, I totally get it. Everybody says the physical side. I get it. I totally with it. As a matter of fact, I own more digital games now than I own physical games. It's just way of the world. It's facts, right? And that's the way it's going to continue to be. But I will try to buy the physical copies whenever I certainly can. El Nini, what's happening, man? Good to see you in the chat. Thanks for being here. Buddha, I love what you just said, bro, and you are 100% correct. If you can change the day for one person, you don't need thousands, and you're absolutely right. And I've always been fortunate. Now, I'm like anybody else. I would have loved to have seen 500 or 600 people in the chat. I don't even remember what my highest total was at any given time. I guess at one point I think I had over 100. I think at one point. I don't even remember how long ago it was. That was years ago, I guess, when things were at its peak, and I had a lot more of the Xbox crowd, follow my ass. But, I average, most of my viewers, especially when the podcasts are not impromptu stuff like this, I typically have about 25 or 30 people, which, honestly is not bad. If you told me I went to a bar and 25 or 30 people showed up to hear me fucking yak, I would be like, that's amazing. There's bands out there. There's fucking talented bands that go to bars and can't get 30 people to listen to them, right? What's this physical copy you speak of? Never heard of it. No, and probably in about 10 years, we will never hear of it anyway, and our kids will never hear of it. But, and the crazy part is people call me toxic, and I don't understand how you can say that I'm toxic just because I have a difference of opinion. Have I ever come out and said that this console sucks and this is that, and I've insulted people? I don't go on anybody's timelines and insult people. I don't get involved in that shit. When I go to other people's chats, when I go to other people's podcasts, for the most part, I'm very respectful. And if I'm not respectful, if I'm actually getting mad and calling people out, it's generally because I've already fired shots over my bow first, right? I'm not the kind of guy that fires first. I'm usually the guy that sits back and takes a whole load of shit before I explode. But fuck, man, when I'm pissed off and I get mad, you will fucking know it. And I guarantee you, if you were to come to my house and you were to say the same shit that you say to me on fucking line, oh, we'd be throwing hands. Let me tell you, I ain't gonna act like I'm some macho dude and that, I can go out and kick and root. I'm not fucking Chuck Norris, okay? But I can chuck down. Let me tell you, I'm not a fucking small dude. I know how to scrap. You know what I mean? All that fucking shit. So, I didn't realize you wasn't on my list and never let my cousin borrow XFs ever again. But just to get back to it earlier, the hardest shots to take have come from the people that I once called friend. And I don't like to say names. I don't like to put them out there, but sometimes I have to. You know what I mean? I don't want to be the, beating around the bush kind of thing here. But I'm super disappointed with Graphic God. Okay? Graphic God created the logo that you see behind me. Did a phenomenal job. There is no question about it. The man is extremely talented. Okay, but that dude turned on me when I didn't want to turn on Mooch and Crap. Now, I know the community. There's a lot of people out there that hate Mooch and Crap. And that's fine. If you don't like those guys, fine. If you don't like them for their content or their difference of opinion, fine. I don't agree with their shit either. I've always said that Crap had a lot of clickbait videos and some of his stuff was absolutely ridiculous. But you know what? I talk to Crap behind the scenes. I still do. And Crap is one of those few guys, honestly, who still checks in on me from time to time. Crap is the kind of guy that still sends me messages. Crap is the same kind of guy who would come and do a podcast with me. He hasn't outcast me. Crap and Mooch have never done a bad thing to me. Now, because they had a business falling out, and we'll call it that, a business falling out with Graphic God, I was supposed to take a side. I don't fucking take a side. I don't do it over you guys like that. I'm sorry. That's not how I fucking work. If you got a beef with somebody else, you got a beef. It's like Hulk Hogan. Now, rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, I mean, to most people, he looked like a saint. People thought the sun shone out of the man's ass. But you know what? Behind the scenes, he had a lot of people that didn't like him either. And some of them are not going to show up at his tribute and his funeral. You know what I mean? Like, he made some enemies and he did some shitty stuff. But I'm going to tell you, that doesn't always define a person. I've always said that every single one of us, the people in this chat, myself included, some of us here have done shit in our lives that we regret, right? Whether it's in podcasting, I've said shit that I regret in podcasts. I've had podcasts that I wish I didn't do. There's a lot of things sometimes you wish you could do differently, right? But certainly one thing I don't regret is ever doing the podcast to begin with. Some of the podcasts I've had, the Game Dosage podcast, being on Crossfire, being a part of Xbox Nation, going right back to my first podcast with GKB and She-Wolf and Lady Foxfire and Magic Mike and Invader Gaming and stuff, and being on that one. That was amazing. KJ, what's going on, man? It's been a long time. How you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Yeah, the Gaming Dosage with our fellow Proto Foxies. Matter of fact, Proto Foxy and Jago Kukin and Invader Gaming, and it was Attack the Glitcher. I don't know if you remember those guys. But we had a lovely little podcast there. It was quite good, and that podcast was actually doing pretty well until Glitcher just, I don't know, and he had personal demons and problems and couldn't get his shit straightened out and couldn't show up most of the time to host the podcast, and that one kind of went downhill. So when the host of the show is basically barely there, it's tough, right? Thanks, man. I greatly appreciate that, KJ. Hopefully we can jump on and play a game of Gears when a new E-Day comes out. That's if I still have my Xbox Live at that point, because when my subscription ends, I think it's middle of next month, I might not be subscribing to Game Pass at all at that point. So that means I'll be left with either the free-to-play games or the single-player shit. That is a great question, Buddha, and I don't have an answer for you. Dealer Gaming kind of went, and shout out to Dealer. He's always been a great friend to me. We've had great conversations. He's given me advice on my channel. I definitely heard what he said, and I didn't listen to a lot of what he said. I did. Comes down to time, man. It's time commitment. As far as Dealer, I don't know. He's basically went AWOL ever since just after Starfield released, and hasn't come back. And I don't know. I think he got a new job. He's quite busy. I don't know. I don't think he's ill or anything like that. Or I think it's just I think it's life, and this is not a priority, I guess. So yeah, what's going on, Valiant Tempest? Good to see you, man. Yes, Valiant, I will answer. I am still planning on podcasting. I will still do the occasional podcast. We will still do Gaming After Dark from time to time. It just won't be a weekly conundrum. We'll do it when there's enough news that, and everybody's available. We'll pop on and do a show and stuff like that. And we'll still play games. And we're still planning to do some community game nights. The majority of the community game nights starting probably in August. We'll be moving over to the PlayStation. So I'm sorry if you don't have me added on PlayStation. There won't be too many more of those on Xbox. Okay. I'm going to try something new. I'm going to try to get a new audience. We're going to try to get a new team, new crew together to start rolling some games over there. Yeah, but I know that Jenny likes about the graphic god. He's an amazingly talented guy. He's a Canadian. But man, like, he wanted me to pick a side, and I didn't do it. And he kind of held a vendetta against me ever since. Now, he can say what he like, and he can lie to your face, but I could tell, man. Sometimes you can just tell, I know when I pop into these guys' podcasts, and I'll make an example. When I usually show up at least every once in a while to the Retro Renegades podcast on Tuesday nights. He never hardly ever says hello to me, ever. And I can admit multiple times. He doesn't. I even retweet his work, and he doesn't acknowledge that I try to share it out and all that stuff. So I don't know, man. It's frustrating, I never did anything wrong to anybody, and then I got voted into this, what is it? The gamers guild or whatever they call it. I don't even remember the fucking name. We got into this guild with these guys, and that was great. It helped promote the channel. That was fantastic. But, it just wasn't for me, and I didn't feel like being part of this sort of this group. So I just kind of said, yeah, you know what, I'm going to try it, but this is not for me. So, and after that, it was a lot of crap. So it's hard to nail everything down, but I can definitely tell you, the last few years have been rough. And a large part of it's because, I've been pigeonholed into the, Newf bitches a lot about Xbox, right? That's all. Perhaps I do. Perhaps I do my fair share of bitching. And why not? They deserve most of it. Most of it they bring on themselves. I mean, when was the last time they gave you a whole lot of great news and then turn around 3 days later and slap you upside the face with some bad news, right? We can't fucking sit here and go on like, oh, these fucking layoffs are cool. But it's not cool for anybody. And this is what people hear, right? Depending on the side of the fence that you align with, they're not cool for Sony. They're not cool for Nintendo. They're not cool for fucking anybody, okay? Layoffs are layoffs, and they suck. And I don't like to see anybody lose their job no more than I would want to lose my job. But they are part of the industry, right? For better or for worse. But when you go out and you cancel some of these big games that you've already invested millions of dollars and several years of development time in, it kind of throws me for a loop. So what's going on? All these price hikes. I mean, kudos to Microsoft. See, I'll say this here, but let me see. I'm sure this will get forgotten about. Kudos to them for rolling back the price of the Outer Worlds too. Right? They obviously could see perhaps on pre-order numbers or feedback in the community, or maybe it was the whole Borderlands 4 conundrum where they were going to jack up their price and basically said if people didn't want to pay it, they weren't real gamers. So maybe they got wet feet and they wanted to roll things back there. I don't know. But, shout out and kudos to Microsoft for at least rolling it back. Now, will the games be a case-by-case basis, just like Nintendo is kind of doing, where some games are going to be, $10 or $20 more expensive? I don't know. I just paid fucking $99 in Canada for Donkey Kong. It's crazy, dude. Crazy, man. Now, Jago, I hear you, man. I totally hear you. It's tough, man. It's tough to watch a lot of the podcasts anymore. Again, time, and I'm in the same boat, man. Like, if it wasn't for so many people doing podcasts, it'd be. I guess it's part of, like, it's time, but it's also the interest level. Like when, I'm included in this group, when most of us are talking about the same games, the same topics week in and week out, like you kind of get like, you get burned out a little bit. You just don't have enough time. And if you're trying to play games, I don't get a lot of time. I'm working in the morning. I don't get off till 6 o'clock in the evening. I've got a short window of opportunity to do anything, whether it's ride my motorcycle, hanging with the wife, watch a movie, or play a game. I've literally got, 5 days of the main week with a couple hour window to play a game. And then I got my weekends, and that's not tough because by the time you're working all week and you get your weekends off, well, guess what? There's other things that come up and you can't play games. So unless I can roll back the clock and I'm like I was when I was, 17, 18 years old and staying up till 4 o'clock in the morning and I could live on 2 or 3 hours of sleep, that would be great. But that's not how the world works anymore. Slendy, what's going on, my brother? Good to see you here, Fred. Glad you could stop by, man. You'd get a PS5 just for me. To be honest, it was for GTA 6. I can't wait for GTA 6, man. So I know not everybody feels that sentiment, but that game is going to be awesome. Speaking of games that are going to be awesome, I can't wait for Battlefield 6. Let's hope that Battlefield 6 delivers. It looks really good so far, but again, it's early, and we know how that shit goes. A lot of times it's the old hook and bait. Show us a great trailer, show us everything you kind of want to see, and then it turns out to be really nothing like what we thought it was, hence Battlefield 2042. Got a super chat coming in from my good friend Valiant Tempest. And Valiant, I did get your friend's request on the Nintendo Switch, and I'm hoping that this weekend we will be able to play the Mario Party Jamboree. That would be fun. It's an amazing game with your friends. If that's what he said. He says we still got to get that Mario Kart game night. Even party would be dope if you were down. I like my Switch too, man. Is it overpriced? 100%. Nintendo's out to lunch when it comes to the pricing, but look, it is what it is. It's in the eye of the beholder. I mean, fuck, I paid almost 900 Canadian for the PSVR 2. That was hell of expensive, especially after already spending 600 plus on a PlayStation 5. But I deem it worth it, even though I don't play it that often. It's worth it to me. I love VR, man. VR is awesome. Gaming Grindhouse, Jed 7780. What's going on, brother? Yeah, it does look like fire. And if they get the damage right and those maps look as cool as that, dude, it's going to be awesome. And as long as they stay away from those weird ass skins, I don't know about you guys, but I'm like, look, I think Ninja Turtles and stuff are cool. Don't get me wrong. Heck, I almost wanted to pick up a copy of Black Ops 6 for Beavis and Butthead. But at the end of the day, like, that stuff's kind of silly. And if you want to create a game mode where you're kind of using the silly skins, go for it. But don't. I don't know, man. Like, to me, it just doesn't feel like Call of Duty anymore. You know what I mean? Dreadpool is in that house. Brother Dread, good to see you, man. Gaming podcast page is oversaturated now. That is true. It's very oversaturated, but that goes for a lot of things in life right now. And it is very oversaturated. And my podcast has never been nothing really like to kind of write home over. There's very little production value, I guess you could say. But the one thing about my podcast, I think, has always set me aside. I wasn't afraid to speak my mind. I've always told the truth. I've been very vocal sometimes. But I think most importantly, my podcasts have always been fairly fun, fairly fast-paced, fairly fun, great topics sometimes, and great banter, and not overly structured. Because, sometimes the overly structured podcasts feel a little too rigid. And I've never been a fan of that sort of scheme. I mean, as a former radio DJ, when I did my DJ shows, it's similar to the way I do the podcast. I liked it off the cuff. I liked it to be impromptu. I liked it to, because I feel like people are real. When things aren't scripted and people won't get the questions always in advance, you get that realness. It's awesome. We got Supersonic Station is in the house. Speaking of VR, he must have heard me talking about it. He comes in right on the spot. PSVR 2 Masters. I love PlayStation VR, man. But I also like the MetaQuest 3. I have that, and I'm having an absolute blast with it. The best thing about the MetaQuest versus PlayStation is just that it has a lot more social apps. Like, it has more stuff outside of just gaming. I wish the PlayStation would expand out a little bit more, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure 90% of the people that bought a PSVR 2 didn't buy it to go into some kind of social apps, right? So yeah, there's advantages and disadvantages. Captain Ketch is in the house. What's going on, Captain Ketch? Good to see you, man. And Nate is here. He's not a Battlefield fan, but agree with you. If it needs to maintain being a serious shooter, first and foremost. Well, also, it looks like they dialed back some of the running, some of the jiggling and stuff that people were talking about that always a COD has Fortnite disease. It really does have Fortnite disease, and that's sad because, like I said, I have nothing against Fortnite, but it's kind of sad because Fortnite and games like it or Minecraft has sort of started to dictate where the industry goes to a certain degree. And, and I just feel like it's subsidizing the industry to a large part. And I have nothing against those games, but because they pick the free-to-play mantra and they make tons of money, well, guess what? Every other company out in the world is hoping to strike their own lightning in a bottle with the same sort of formula. And what happens is we start getting over flooded with a lot of games. And you're seeing that with a lot of indie games too, where we're just inundated with these things. It's crazy. Big screen. That would be awesome, Supersonic. I would look forward to that. The big screen app is so freaking good. It is awesome. Yes, and I do believe you have a PSVR 2, Jez. I'm on there, man. That game After the Fall is a good laugh. There's a really good game I play. I can't find many people to play it with, but it's actually a lot of fun. It's called Crossfire Sierra Squad. I don't know if you guys heard of it. It's on PSVR 2. It's like a military shooter. That game's a blast with a friend, man. It's awesome stuff. The levels aren't overly long, but they're pretty challenging, and it's good stuff, man. Easy money. It's something everybody wants. Yes, indeed. Yeah, well, like I said, the good news is, guys, I'm not going away. I'm not taking a sabbatical. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be streaming more often. So I like having conversations while also playing a game. It's almost like the best of both worlds when you stream a game, because we can have these conversations much similar to what we're doing right here with this podcast, but I can still play a game and I can get a few hours in on something that I want to play. And I've had a lot of great people come over. I'm trying to grow my Twitch channel a little bit more. That one's been a bit staggered. But the one reason I do a lot of PlayStation and I do it with YouTube, and again, this is a strength of PlayStation here, and I don't mean to be biased on this one, but Xbox hasn't implemented that PlayStation has a direct to YouTube streaming button. So you don't have to meddle with a whole lot of shit. You just kind of hit the share and you go down and you go to YouTube, basically like 2 or 3 button presses and put your description in, and your stream goes straight to YouTube, and it's fantastic. But it doesn't do that on Xbox, right? Xbox sort of has a similar function now with Twitch, but it's still a little bit more complicated, right? So that's all there is. I don't have that game yet, Captain Ketch, but it looks like a really, really fun game, and I want to pick it up for sure. And like I said, anything co-op in VR is fantastic. There's a free one on MetaQuest. It's actually a lot of fun to play too. It's called, I don't know if you played it, it's called Population 1. Once again, it's a free to play. It is a battle royale style game, but it's not as complicated or as overbearing as some of the other battle royales. Trust me on that. If you get a little squad together, trust me, it's a lot of fun. And after 4 or 5 games, you kind of get the gist of what's going. You pick it up pretty quickly. But just back to everything, man. Like I said, I just can't believe this community. And I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong with something. Maybe I'm jumping the gun, But a lot of times I get these intuitions about people and things. And a lot of people haven't been upfront and honest with me, that's for sure. The backstabbing behind my back. And don't worry, it comes around. You got to be very careful what you say in a party chat or what you say sometimes in these X chats as well, because shit comes around, right? And you kind of get a gist of it. I mean, it's no secret. 2 years ago, I was getting invited to all sorts of podcasts. You know, I was like one of those. No, we got to get Newf Nukem on the show. Well, kudos to the only people that have sent me invites over the last couple of years have pretty much been the Wise Old Gamer. So shout out to him. He sent me invites to his podcast. I get invites from Mooch, but I don't see too many invites from anybody else these days. It's like somehow they forgot that Newf Nukem exists. No, I think they know I'm here. The problem is they're afraid of what I'm going to say when they bring me on a podcast because, you know, I'm not the guy, you know. I don't have the insiders, you know. The only thing that's fucking insider around here is my cock up inside the wife, you know what I mean? That's the only insider around here. But that's about fucking it, you know. I don't have insiders. I'm sorry. I wish I do. I know one guy who works at EA. He told me the fucking Battlefield is shaping up to be really good and thinks that people will really, really like it. From what we've seen, I'd say he's heading in the right direction, you know. But outside of that, that's kind of it. But where are the other guys? Because I'm not an Xbox guy anymore. But I've got every fucking Xbox. As a matter of fact, I went out. I'm on my third Series X already. Yeah, I love Xbox. I don't love what they're doing. I don't love the way the company is going. But I have to accept it. Bottom line is I got to accept it. You know what I mean? That's how it's going to go. You know, you're going to go. It's just like my kindergarten year, right? I didn't want to go to kindergarten either when my mother the first day that I was sent to kindergarten, I screamed, I cried, I was violent. I did not want to get on that fucking bus. But eventually I had to get on the bus, and I was dragged on the bus. And you settle in, you learn to like it. PlayStation is following, yes, in certain areas. And I think they will. I think a lot of these companies, and it's largely not because it's really what they want to do, it's what they have to do. Because if they can't get game development down in under 3 years, and they can't get game prices down under $200 million, everybody's in trouble. It doesn't matter what company you're in. That shit's not sustainable. It's not sustainable when if you're spending $200 million and, you know, you're not getting a return on investment. You know, you're barely breaking even. You know, it takes money to make money. It takes money to develop a game. When you see a lot of these games come out that have been in development for 5 and 6 years, and they come out and they're struggling to crack, 2 or 3 million copies. That's tough. That's a tough grind. And that's, again, where a service like Game Pass is extremely helpful. It certainly helps games that have struggled. It helps them get a new lease on life. I think it does detract from the day-and-date stuff, though. Because a lot of us are going to buy those games anyway. Like Halo Infinite, if that never came out day-and-date, a lot of us would have went out and bought it regardless. You see what I mean? Gears E-Day, when that comes out. If they didn't put it in day-and-date, we know they're putting it day-and-date in Game Pass, right? But the point is, let's just say they didn't put it day-and-date. How many people run out and buy Gears E-Day and still keep their Game Pass subscription? A lot of people, right? Again, it's where I think Microsoft's biggest mistake isn't Game Pass itself. I've always said I think their biggest mistake was doing day and date, because at least by keeping a 6-month window, they would allow people to buy it digitally or physically in the store. It allows for them to basically remarket the game twice. And for those people that, the game is not really on their radar, but they want to pick it up, great. But for those of us who've got the games on the radar, it's like Nintendo. Nintendo's going to sell their big games. They're going to sell fucking day one, right? So, well, Game Pass might be, the future of the industry, but yeah, you're damn right. It's definitely one of the nails in the coffin of the console itself, Yeah, like we don't know. This is all speculation, and people are running wild with this stuff, But it happens on both sides of the fence. It happens from the PlayStation side of things. It happens on the Xbox side. So no community here is any better than the other. Everybody's just running with every little piece of information as if it's gospel, and we don't know that. I can guarantee you that Sony will explore the live service aspect of their games, right? Because it makes sense. Live service games rely on a community, and they rely on the community to be healthy for years and years to come. Right? I mean, Sea of Thieves is going fairly well because it has a community. And guess what? I'm sure Sea of Thieves got quite a bit of a boost in the arm after it went over to PlayStation. It exposed itself to many, many more players and has built a bigger audience. So with some of those games, you definitely can understand why they just do better if they are multi-plat. Forza Horizon 5 is another fantastic example. I mean, it's selling well on the PlayStation. To me, it kind of sucks that those flagship games, some of the best ones are coming to the competing console. But at the end of the day, the majority of us, whether you're PlayStation centric or Xbox centric, you're going to play your favorite games on your favorite piece of hardware, right? Majority of the time, right? Yeah. See, Nate's is like they're already doing it the live service side. Absolutely, because live service games need the biggest audience possible. And there's one thing you can't. You can say a lot of stuff about Xbox, but there's one thing you can't deny. They've always had a lot of support when it came from multiplayer. I mean, for years, remember how Xbox was always known as the shooter box? Well, that wasn't by fluke. It was because Xbox tend to have all the biggest and best shooters. It had one of the best, most robust online service at the time. And people were willing to pay good money for that service because they had party chat. They had reliable online. There was a lot of things that Xbox was doing right and still continues to do right for the most part. So I get it. So PlayStation will explore those opportunities much like Xbox will. And there's not much you can do about it. It's a strategy. We saw how games like Rocket League became hugely successful after it got cross-platform. And cross-platform has really changed the game too. Now, what we used to think was going to be like a couple of games, like it's like almost every game now is cross-platform. Like there's so many of them. And I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool when I'm on my Xbox and I get to see that, I'm playing some of these games and there's PlayStation players. There's some of it's for bragging rights. But it also, again, it extends the community. It means the lobbies are fuller. And if you got more people playing these games, it means ultimately more eyes on. It means it's better for the advertiser. It's more money. It's not rocket science as to why they do this. Claire Obscure, yeah, that was a good game that obviously benefited from being into the service like that. Yeah, Nintendo's killing it, man. Supersonic. I'm loving my Switch. I only have the two main games for it so far, and that's Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza. But they're great games and they're fun. They're fun, man. And that's it. Like I said, they're ballooning budgets and the massive timelines have really changed the way the game industry goes. And Game Pass has changed how people absorb and consume games. And again, there's a lot of people that have it. A lot of people love it, and I have no issue with that. If that's your thing, go for it. For me, it's just I'm a physical connoisseur. Again, I will try to buy the physical copy whenever possible because I like to collect. And I'm not naive. I'm not stupid. I totally understand how some of those games in particular, there's not a whole lot of information on the disc. It's kind of like almost like an online license just so you can access it and then you download all that shit. I get it, right? But to each their own. I've tried it numerous times. I mean, at one point in time, you probably remember some of my old podcasts. That's what I said. I'll never have Game Pass. I'll never subscribe to it. Well, I guess I had no choice because at one point Xbox kind of said, yeah, we're done with gold. We're going to call it Game Pass and we're going to switch to tiers. We're going to switch it up a little bit. So, yeah, I don't know. But, that's where we are with things. It's unfortunate, but I wanted to come on tonight just to reassure everybody that I'm not going away again despite some of these people. And speaking of some of these people, and this is the part that bugs me too. I know there's a lot of people in this community that create an alternate account. And they do it because they don't have the balls to say something to your face, right? I'm not talking, yes, you're coming to my house and saying it. But even here, they don't have the balls to say it to you in a chat even. They're going to create an account so they can jump on your channel or jump in your X feed and say this bullshit to you, right? And that shit bugs the hell out of me. First of all, you got no life. You got enough fucking time to go creating this fucking shit. There's something wrong with you. creating alternate accounts so you can be a troll, so you can be an asshole. Does that make you feel good about yourself in the morning that you have basically admitted that you're a fucking asshole? The whole purpose of your fucking little account is to go and piss off people like me because you disagree with my opinion. Who gives a fuck about my opinion? It's my opinion. It's not a fact, and I don't preach it as such. It's my opinion. We like what we like. We don't like what we like, you know? But it's funny because if you're praising Xbox one day, everybody's kissing your ass. And if you slam them the next day for something, everybody's putting your ass on fire. You know, it's fucking insane. I don't know how much clearer and drier I got to put it. You know, it's like my good friend Game Complainers in the chat. That dude owns more Xbox shit than 95% of the people that watch our podcasts. And yet people have the audacity to go, you're a pony and you're a fraud. There's nothing frauding about that dude. The dude's a gamer, man. He plays everything. He's got everything. He's got consoles that would make you blush. I mean, that dude's got everything. You know, and you know, and Supersonic brings up a good point too. And the other part about the Game Pass, the part that I'm leery of. Yeah, it comes out and it's like $1 and they give you all these deals. And for a while it's like super cheap. And it's like there's no way you can deny the value. But with games going up in price, guess what? Eventually Game Pass will go up in price because the executives are going to sit down and go, well, if games are $99 and we got to spend more to put them in Game Pass, we're going to have no choice but to raise the cost. And I don't know where the breaking point is for some of you guys. I guess it really depends on how many games you would normally buy in the run of a year. How many full price games did you buy on average in a year? If you can say that you get way more value by subscribing to Game Pass than you would have if you bought the 4 or 5 or 6 games that you buy in a year, if that's your cup of tea, then great. I've always bought, for me in a general year, before Game Pass existed, right? I would normally buy, I would say, at least 6 new games a year, and probably more than that. Like I'm talking about 6 full price games at least, sometimes 12. Like it all depended on what came out. But I would buy a shit ton of new games, and I would get a bunch on sale too. And you'd wait for some of the sales, right? You wait till Boxing Day, you wait till Black Friday, and you pick up a bunch of cheap games. And I've never had a single issue with how these companies distributed these games and how I consumed my games. But when the majority of people started consuming games differently, they automatically told Newf Nukem I'm wrong for consuming my games the same way we all fucking consumed our games. Just going to the store, walking in, getting our debit cards out or our cash, and paying the 50, 60, 70 bucks right over the counter for the fucking game. How am I wrong for doing it that way? And I also said that here's the other side, and it pisses me off to no end. I'm walking in. I'm trying to support Xbox, but I walk in and I see these big shelves. Nothing's there. The Xbox selection is very small, and you probably think, well, that's okay. But here's the thing. For the average consumer, not the ones who pay attention to podcasts or pay attention to the marketing, but to the average consumer walking in, when they don't see a game in the shelf and they don't see any posters and they don't see any marketing type of stuff in the store, how the fuck are they supposed to know about a game? And how are they supposed to buy a game when they don't know about it? Remember years ago? Remember the shifty, the shady Sony marketing years ago? Remember when they made everybody believe that Call of Duty only existed on PlayStation because they put the only on PlayStation shit on the box, and they put their Call of Duty shit all over the box, even though they fucking knew well that it was a multiplat. But the average consumer was convinced that Call of Duty was only on PlayStation. And I've seen it. I've seen it at GameStops. I've seen it where people think because of the crafty marketing, right? Remember how even PlayStation was trying to say, what was it, PS4s or whatever could do 8K or some bullshit, or when the PS4 Pro came, it was 8K? 8K for what? Like a fucking game like Tetris or something? That fucking thing couldn't do 8K to save it. So it certainly wasn't going to do 8K on anything that was graphically intense. To me, that's marketing. That's why it's still important, I think, as long as physical games exist, until all the companies say we're done, and all of the companies take their games off the shelf. Isn't it a benefit to walk into the store and see the physical copy on PlayStation, to see the physical copy on Nintendo, to see the physical copy on Xbox? You cannot tell me I'm wrong on that. If you walk in, you see the three companies side by side by side. But NBA 2K27 is over here in the PlayStation cabinet, and it's in the Nintendo cabinet, but there's no game in the Xbox cabinet. So who do you think gets that sale? It's marketing. It doesn't take a fucking genius to understand this shit. Right? No, and I don't understand the shame, because it was always cool to buy shit physical. It's a collector's thing. And do you know what? One advantage I still have by buying physical, okay? One advantage. And it's kind of a big one, especially if you're on a budget. You're on a budget and you buy a physical game, that game is still technically worth something. I can still take it into my local store and trade it. I can still sell it if I want, and I will get money for it. Can't do any of that shit with fucking digital. Unless, what is it? You have 2 weeks or something, you return a digital game if you don't like it. But this is what I'm saying. Yeah, 8K Pornhub. Yeah, that shit was probably an 8K. I think most of us, our eyeballs are probably burned out if it was. So far, I'm spot on. Chase Jones is in the chat. Now, there's a good, long friend of mine right there. One of the very few guys in this community that I actually have as a real-life friend on my Facebook account. I don't open up to just everybody with my personal life shit, but I do have Chase on there. Chase, you're awesome, man. I love you, dude. You're spot on. Last time I went to a Target Nintendo Switch a gaming console demo set up. PlayStation did. Xbox, nothing. So Mark, exactly. He just nailed it on the head. Marketing 101. You know, if you don't know something exists, it's hard to buy it. And this is why I think they still should make them, even though I get it, that the bulk of their business is digital and they're trying to drive people to Game Pass. You still want that there. I mean, I've had no issue walking into any of the retailers still and seeing a lot of Nintendo Switch 2 promotional stuff, right? That's fantastic. But Nintendo still has the belief. Nintendo still knows how to do some things right. Okay? Yeah, the biggest marketing is an Xbox, which, hey, Buddha, good to see you still here, brother. Andrew, what's up? Cougar Man is in the house. You guys are amazing. You know, yeah, like, I don't understand that strategy. This is an Xbox. I get what they're trying to say. I totally get it. But to me, to me personally, I feel like you're devaluing the brand. By telling everybody that your TV and your Amazon Fire Stick's an Xbox and this is an Xbox and something else is an Xbox, it's just like, okay, so you're just a brand now. There's no identity here, right? There's no identity, you know? You know, a place like Netflix is a brand. Netflix is a service. It's on a lot of things. But the thing Netflix always was, Netflix, up until recent years, Netflix always relied on a lot of people to create their content. Now, a lot of people don't want to put their content into Netflix anymore. Guess what? Because they have their own exclusive service. So Netflix has no other choice but to create their own content because they won't get the Star Wars stuff. They're not getting half the movies anymore because the other people have their own services, right? So they're creating all this content. And with creating a massive amount of content like Netflix has been doing, guess what's happening? Quality. How many of these shows do they create now and they're dead after 6 and 7 episodes or after a season, 2 seasons maybe, and they're fucking dead? Tell me that's not like a waste of money and leaving people out on limbo because they're throwing darts at the board, right? They're throwing darts at the board. Moggs E, now there's a guy I have not seen in a long, man, I've seen some really old faces in here. I don't mean that figuratively, but people I haven't seen in the chat for a while. Moggs E and Buddha Time. A lot of people in here tonight, guys. You're amazing. 21 awesome people showing up for an impromptu podcast. And this is why I stick around. I stick around because you guys stick around. Because you haven't abandoned me. You haven't written me off for good. Like Dreadpool has known me for years. Dreadpool knows that I'm a stand-up guy. I am what I am. But like I said, I'm not the kind of guy that's going to go out and hate on somebody or call somebody out because, like, I know there's guys on the Gaming After Dark panel. I know there's certain guys they don't like in this community that I might be still fairly close with, and that's fine. I don't expect them to like people that I like just because I'm saying you should like them. Like them for your own reasons, dislike them for your own reasons. That's all I can say, and that goes for anybody. But I'm not out here taking receipts. I'm not out here screen capture those videos. I'm not going to go back 5 years to find something some dumbass fucking said. This is the difference with Newf. You get what you get. You get what you see. I am this guy. I'm not running from anybody, and I'm certainly not pulling a sneaky fucking snake oil salesman bullshit stuff, right? Oh, look at who's in the chat now. Speaking of moderators, Boss Mod Lethal Pop is here. What's going on? What's going on, brother? Good to see you, dude. And I've been cleaning out, and I might have to re-add some people, but I've been sort of cleaning out my friends list a little bit lately. It's just because there's a lot of associations now with a lot of different groups and a lot of different people, and I don't know who to trust anymore. That's the problem. Gotten to the point I just don't know who to trust. I don't know if you're legitimately on my side or if you're watching this podcast right now, because some of the people that are attacking me, I can guarantee you, they're not these dudes from the PlayStation community. They're not the guys that, notoriously would just, Newf's an idiot. These are guys who, at some point, I think watched my shows and might have even subscribed to my channel, and now they're bitter with me because they don't like my opinions. Right? My opinions are not always possible, not always popular. And as I said, they're certainly not always fact or always right. And if anybody knows who's been around a lot of my shows since probably day one, would be Boss Mod Lethal Papa. Been here. I mean, Lethal Papa, he's a great guy who's been around a lot of big podcasts. He's moderated on many. And a lot of people don't like Papa either because Papa would just keep people in check, and that's cool. No, absolutely, Chase. This is what I'm trying to weed out, man. I'm just trying to find out who the real OGs are, the people that got your back. I'm not here to talk about shit. I don't want to be at that shit. So that was one of the golden rules with gaming, community game nights back in the day. I had the one rule. I didn't have a whole lot of rules. I said, you come to have fun. It's fun first and foremost. It's not kill-death ratios. And one of the second things I always said with people when they came to the community game days or community game nights, as I said, I don't care where your allegiances are, what podcasts you like, but when you play a game, we're here to have fun, and we're not here to talk about other podcasters. We're not here to put other people down. That's just wrong. If they're not here to defend themselves, then don't say it. Just leave it. I don't want to hear it. You can talk to your own posse about that bullshit. I'm not going to hate on those guys. I'm not hating on, like I said, I'm not going to hate on Crap Gamer and Mooch because a lot of people in the community don't like them. And now they're deemed as the flip. I really don't give a shit. I don't care if they like PlayStation tomorrow and they like fucking having Slurpees on the fucking moon next day. I really don't care. If they entertain me and some of the shit they're saying is right, some of the rest of it's opinion, because that's really 80 to 90% of half of the shit in the game community. It's all about, here's an article that was presented by somebody, and then we give our takes and opinions on it, whether it's good or it's bad. But I can't sit here and make everything good, and I can't sit here and make everything bad. It all depends on what the news is given to me and how I perceive it. And that's the way it goes for any of you guys. We all have our favorite console. We all have our preference. Every single one of us has a preference, and that's never going to change. You like what you like. It's like a car. It's like your favorite movie. It's like whatever. It's your favorite Superman. You know how the big debate is over Reeves and Cavill and Corn and Sweat. I really don't give a shit which one you like the most. I love all of them for different reasons. I loved the look and how Christopher Reeve was presented on screen. I love the dark, gritty action, and I love the costume, and I really love Henry Cavill. And the new guy, the new Superman, it's a little cornier, it's a little more whatever, but the movie I thought was fun. It was fun, and I enjoyed it. I thought David Corn Sweat wasn't bad. That's all I can say. You know what I mean? Yeah, I've always been this way. I've always been this way. See, nothing has changed. I haven't changed. I don't like where people think of change. I haven't changed. I still have my Xbox. I still have, well, that's just it too. And if you look at my social media, you'll notice that I like PlayStation posts. I like Nintendo posts. I like Xbox posts. I don't like just, there are people in this community, they will not, I'll be like, Astrobot was an amazing game. And guess what? I'll look at like the 12 or 30 likes or sometimes 100 likes or whatever the heck I get on social media. But guess what? The likes I get are from guys that are associated with the PlayStation community. I know the Xbox dudes see it, and vice versa. Vice versa. Okay, Gears of War, it's an amazing game. I love it. The Xbox guys are giving you the thumbs up, but the PlayStation guys won't. It's like you want to call yourselves, we all have multiple consoles. We're all multi-plat owners, but you're afraid to like or comment about anything from somebody else if it's not aligned with your perception or your perceived platform. And I never understood that. I had a multi-plat. Look, like a fucking Halo 5 t-shirt on here. I love Halo, man. I love Halo. Halo is amazing. I probably wouldn't be gaming today if it wasn't for Halo. Like, Halo's one of those games. But that's why it also hurts me to see Halo, the flagship of, Xbox in particular, probably will come to PlayStation. And as a multiplayer game, it probably makes sense because Halo wants to get as many people playing as they possibly can. They want to get more people into the lobbies. They want to make more money in the long haul. I totally get it. And it sucks because, again, it's kind of like, it's the identity, right? And you're giving it away. But at the end of the fucking day, it is what it is. I can't stop them. None of us can stop the tides. The only way to turn the tide on any of these companies is to basically just stop giving them money. And what's going on, brother? Iceman is here. Good to see you, man. Everything's a damn Xbox. We were just talking about that. And apparently, yes, just about everything is a damn Xbox. Yes, can we at least agree the nipples on the Batsuit look very bad, according to Buddha? 100%. They did. Those were ridiculous. And I'm sorry, but I think George Clooney, he was my least favorite Batman. I thought that movie was absolute wackiness. Just I liked it more when I was younger because I was obviously younger, but yeah. Well, you gotta keep it real. You gotta agree to disagree, and you gotta move on. And that's, I can tell you. And Nate, you've been in my podcast chats for a long time. Not everybody likes everything that you have to say, and I know you certainly don't agree or like everything that I've had to say. But we've always agreed to disagree. We've kept it respectful, right? That's what I'm saying. I have no issue. And I've never had an issue with people in my podcast chat. The one thing that used to always drive me nuts is that people would show up to my podcast, and the troll guys, and they'd come in, and the first thing they'd say was go, Xbox got no games. See, that to me was like, okay, I know you're trolling, and you're just being an a-hole, so you're going to get an instant ban because you're not here to be constructive, right? That's what you want. You want constructive thinkers. You want people that if you say, why did you like something or why did you hate it, and they can back it up. We expect that from our game reviews too, right? Like when somebody reviews a game and they say, yeah, I played through the entire game, or I played through at least the bulk of it, and I really liked it, or I didn't like it, and they can give you reasons why. You kind of go, at least we know why. Whether we disagree, okay, might be your favorite game on the planet, but at least you can understand and like that. But when you hear a reviewer say, oh, well, I give it a 6 out of 10. Why is that? The game was terrible. Did you play it? No, my boyfriend did, and I watched him stream it. What the fuck? Like, that's the kind of shit you go, oh, you just shake your head at, right? Yeah, so, but, like I said, if the whole slate, at the end of the day, if it does go, all PlayStation goes to Xbox, all Xbox goes to PlayStation, at the end of the day, so be it. So be it. Just spend your money where you want to spend your money. This is a big reason why I'm kind of stepping back from the permanent part, because I just can't handle the nonsense. And I've been a part of some of the nonsense, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm not guilty of that, right? I've had my certain things from time to time. I've had a few digs here and there, and I've said some stupid shit. Again, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with these companies. If I had my way, I'd run Xbox the same damn way they ran things on the 360. I'd just give people the hardware that they wanted. I'd give people great, amazing-looking games. And most importantly, I'd have every fucking thing exclusive. And I mean, if I owned Xbox, Call of Duty, any of that shit would be nowhere but Xbox. And guess what? Everybody would own a fucking Xbox. If the only option is to be your option, people are going to have that option. I'm telling you, that's how it goes. You know, I wouldn't be a kumbaya motherfucker, I tell you that. If I was running shit, I'd be like, this is what we're going to do, and the industry's not going to like it, but guess what? Our fans are going to like us, and we're going to make our damn console the biggest and best powerhouse in the industry. And you wanted to worry about being a multi-plat console because you're going to have so many fucking games on Xbox. Yeah, you're going to be inundated. You know what I mean? That's what I would do. But again, I'm not a corporate suit. I don't run these companies. They look at the numbers. They look at the the engagement and all that fucking weird shit. See, the problem is just to think of it, Xbox is successful, I guess, with the way that they're running the company right now. But can you also see and think about it? Think about what I just said. If they did run the company exactly the way they ran the 360, but they got the Bethesda deal, they got the Activision Blizzard deal, and all those games, I'm even including games like Minecraft. Imagine if they said Minecraft is exclusive to Xbox. Call of Duty is exclusive to Xbox. No day and date shit. No fucking, 6 months down the road. These games are exclusive to Xbox. Money had it the fuck out of everything. Can you not see Xbox dominating the industry? So they would dominate. People might be upset about it, at least at first. Oh, I can't play my game on the PlayStation. What? But they'd go over and they'd buy the fucking Xbox. Because I guarantee you, if Grand Theft Auto 6 was exclusive to one console and nothing else, every kid in the fucking world would have that console. And I shit you not. And you know what I'm saying is true. You know what I'm saying is fucking true. And this is why. But you just want to put your shit everywhere because, you want to maximize your potential because you're literally in the last place in terms of selling fucking hardware when you could have easily been in the number one place selling hardware if you just put out the fucking software on the number one piece of selling hardware. It's that simple, man. It's that simple. Right? Yeah, the government would throw a few wrenches in there, for being a monopoly, I suppose, and that is part of the reason it's lost. So yeah, unfortunately, there's a competition clause too. As Dreadpool says, yeah, we live in a soft world, and that's part of it too. We live in a world where people get offended, and because these organizations exist to say what can be here and what can be there, because it's not fair. Well, you know what? If you don't have the money to compete and you don't have the fucking balls to compete, I'm sorry, that's too bad. Happens in sports. We see what happens when sports teams don't compete, right? They can't fill the stands. They got shitty owners and they don't have the money. Guess what happens to them? They go out of business and they close down. And it fucking sucks, but nobody cries about it. They go somewhere else, right? I don't see it any other way. Back in the day, all these companies would have choked each other out for number one supremacy. That's what I'm saying. But again, it's a different world. We're in a different world, man. Swissblade, how you doing, man? Good to see you. So, like I said, I've been cleaning out my Xbox friends list a little bit. I've been cleaning out a few other places as well. Been taking a lot of follows and unfollows and shit and everything off of my ex. Now, if I took you off that list, there's probably a reason why. I do apologize for that. If you don't see yourself on my lists, feel free to send me a message. I can add you back. But the bottom line is I'm not fucking playing around. If I find out you're one of these jerkwads that's with the jerkwads that I've been complaining about, I will have no fucking hesitation about just dropping you. Because with the Xbox right now, first of all, in another month or so, I might not play any more multiplayer games on Xbox unless they're free to play shit. That's first and foremost. And second of all, I'm just getting tired of adding. A lot of people add me all the time. They don't send me a message. They don't tell me how they know me. They don't, and if you've got no intentions of at least sending me a message or even playing a game, then you have to tell me, why did you add me to your friends list? I don't like adding people to my friends list that have no intentions of playing games. Oh, well, I don't really play. Well, if you don't play multiplayer games, what do you have me there? So you can see what I'm playing and you can make a video about how many hours I did or didn't put into a fucking game in a month? Is that why you added me? Because that's what a lot of fucking shitweeds do in this fucking community, and it drives me bonkers. They add you, and they screen capture you and they bitch about your gamer score. Apparently, you're not enough of a gamer and you didn't beat the game on hard and you didn't beat, like, I am done. I am almost 50 years old and I am fucking done with that shit, dude. Okay? If you want to play games, let's fucking play. I am there. When I'm online, if I'm doing fuck all, that means I'm ready to play a game. You see me listening to Spotify, yeah, I might be chilling out to some tunes because I'm just kind of unwinding. But if you just see me on the home screen and I'm not playing shit, all you got to do is send a message. If you want to play something, I'd say 9 times out of 10, I'll be like, yeah, man, what do you got? We got it installed. Let's do it. Let's roll. Right? I like, and on top of that, I've had at one point, I think almost 500 people as my friends list on Xbox. And I got to scroll through all these people now. And I'm looking. No, I haven't played a game with that guy since the first year we played a game. So that was 10 years ago. All right. Now he doesn't. Then I'll have these guys be like, oh, hasn't seen online in Xbox in 550 days. So what do? They fucking die? Forget how to play games and they sell their Xbox? Like, I don't know, turn into a transvestite or something? Like, I don't fucking know. Like, so some of this shit doesn't make sense. I don't add people to any of my friends lists if I don't know them and we don't play any games and we got nothing in common. It just doesn't make sense. Unless I know you personally, that's different. But outside of that, right? Yeah, they'll fucking play. Iceman knows that. If he wants me to play a game, I see you playing. And the thing is with me, I see a lot of you guys playing, and a lot of times you're in party chats. I don't like to just barge in on people, right? If you see me online, I'm just sitting around, and you're like, we need an extra player for a game. And Newf is doing nothing. Send me an invite. I'll come join you. It's that simple. I shit you not, right? I'm not a hard guy to play games with. I'm not like a lot of these dudes in the community that say they play games. So never fucking play a game with anyone in the community because they're too above that. They're too above the 15 minutes of their time or a half an hour to go play around a Halo with you. God forbid. God forbid, right? No, I play fucking everything, dude, you know? But that's the kind of shit, this is the kind of shit that I got to deal with, you know? And I have my group, and I just rather my groups be small with amazing people that we talk. We do private chats together. We do the community game days together because, you know, like I said before, I don't understand how community game days are not super popular. Everybody says they love them. The people that have played them say they love them. But then when I try to get one going with my 5,000 plus people that follow me on my X account and my 500 people on Xbox, I can't find 6 people to play a game. And that's the other thing. When I was playing on the 360, everybody played the same 3 or 4 games, and we loved it. You were playing the Call of Duty Modern Warfare or Call of Duty Warfare 2, Gears of War, probably 1, 2, or 3, but we were playing the same games. Now, there's so many fucking games. Nobody plays the same shit anymore. And if you don't play it in the first 2 weeks that the game comes out, you might as well kiss your ass goodbye. Because, oh, you didn't buy it on launch. And you're like, oh, I'm trying to find some people to play a game with. And the dudes are like, no, man, I beat that already. I'm on to something else. You're like, oh, for fuck's sake. Now I got to go play some with fucking randoms. And you guys know how great that works out. Oh, my God. Might as well fucking slam my dick in the door, right? Fucking randoms. Most of them don't use a mic. Some of them don't speak fucking English. The rest are stupid as fuck. You know, well, let's play a capture the flag match where, like, one guy goes and captures the flag and the other 5 fucktards sit in the back of the map with a sniper rifle trying to rack up a score. And you're like, well, this is fucking not getting us anywhere. We're getting our ass kicked because you got 2 people running the flag and everybody else is sitting in the back like they're fucking taking a fucking shit. You're like, do these guys not know how to play these game modes? That's one thing I've always liked about Battlefield. At least Battlefield give you a lot more points for fucking objectives, and Call of Duty's like, yeah, that's an objective, right? Yeah, like sometimes you get some really good randoms. I mean, at some point, most of us were all randoms. Well, yeah, like, and that's another thing. So if you're on PlayStation right now and you don't have PlayStation Plus, that's a red flag because that means we can't play anything anyway. If you don't have PlayStation Plus, at least the essential, that means you can't play multiplayer games with nobody. So why are you my friend on here? You're checking in. You're not sending me a message. We're not playing games. So what? You got Newf Nukem on your friends list. So again, what? You can spy on my trophies or how many hours I spend. Dude, just send me if you send me the request, Swiss Bliss, send me the request. Make sure you send a message, right? Because like I said, right now I'm being a little bit more like I said, I'm being a little more selective because I don't want to keep adding people that just don't have any intentions of talking or playing a game, right? Oh, Halo Infinite was bad. Yeah, two snipers, guarders, and runners. Well, it's just coordination. I love shooters when you got a good tactical team. When people are like, we're defending this one. You guys are attacking this one. We're flanking left. We're flanking right. Just little things. And the guy would be like, dude, there's snipers in that southwest tower, like North 60. You know, the little things sometimes that can separate constant losing from constant winning. It's just a little communication and having fun. Like, I love to laugh, man. I love the conversations you get, right, when you're playing games sometimes. It's so good. I got nothing wrong with adding friends on any of this stuff. I love it. I love adding friends. I love having people, but I like interaction. You know, and that's all I'm saying. I just don't get it. It's like a grind. And I want to bring back the community game nights. And I want it to be a real fun, something to look forward to. But I think the thing that's going to make community game night work is finding a select group of games. Because I think you can't rotate games too much. And a large part of that has to do with the fact that nobody has hard drive space, right? You can't, like, Call of Duty's take up 300 gigs. So you got to pick a couple of games that people really like, games that you usually get a pretty good audience to play, and be consistent. So like basically on a Sunday and it's tough with time zones. I'm in the Western time zone for those of you guys don't know. Yes, I'm Newf Nukem. I'm actually from the province of Newfoundland and Labrador, but I live in Western Canada. I'm out in Alberta. So, for example, right now it is 9:32 p.m. in the evening. I'm usually that's 3 hours, that's 2 hours behind Eastern time, and 3.5 hours behind Newfoundland time. So, for a lot of you guys, mostly on the Eastern Seaboard, in New York, for example, you're probably at 11:32 at night right now, right? So the time zones make things tough too. So Battlefield's great, man. I love Battle. That new one is looking so good, dude. But, you know, when you make these great friends, and I have some people in here, I don't play enough games with them, but I have, and they know who I am. Like, we've played enough and we talk enough that it's not just about playing a game either constantly, but having a conversation. Like Chase Jones in the chat, like it's probably been months since we played a game together, but I know him personally. And we play games at Supersonic Station. And we played a few VR games and stuff together. And Iceman LMH, one of my oldest multiplayer friends in the chat. We've been playing together for years. I think it started out on Gears, and we played some Halos, and we played Rocket League, and we played a shit ton of other games together. Probably played more games with Iceman LMH than anybody else in this chat right now. Been playing games the last couple of months, a large part with the Gaming After Dark panel, which has been awesome. Get to play with Perry and Fred and Frank and Piggles and Slendy, like all of these guys there, and then some, and having a blast. And Sir X-Man, we've been playing some Battlefield. Shout out to Sir X-Man, awesome guy. Yeah, the good old days. And why can't we have good old days again? I guess a lot of it, yes, we're busier too, and I get that. But I hope you're trying to 4:30 in the morning, UK. Damn, yeah, you're definitely well ahead of me. So the poker game. Yeah, we should play the poker game. And after the fall, and I just downloaded. What did I just download on? Did I get it on MetaQuest or PlayStation VR 2? I think it was MetaQuest 3. I just downloaded that new. I guess it's not new. It's probably like 2 years old now. But Moss 2, that was great. Mario Kart World, absolute blast. And this weekend, as I said, if you have a Switch or Switch 2, we're going to, again, because it's you can play it on either system. So we're going to play some Mario Kart Jamboree this weekend. So, right? Yeah, Dreadpool's a busy man, always working, dude. Hopefully at some point you get some holidays, man. You get to relax and chill out with us and play some games. But that's all I'm saying, man. Just I love the community. I do care about people, man. And it's something that people never understood. You're putting me in the same, and I don't like to say the names, but dude, I'm not Jade Obsidian, I'm not Porter Rock, I'm not those fucking guys in the PlayStation community. You know what I mean? Never been, never will be. They're their own guys, and I'm not dissing either one of them. They're their own fucking thing. but I am my own guy. Xbox first and foremost always. I love Xbox. Not happy with a lot of the stuff they do, but I'm sure I will always have an Xbox console as long as they make them. And and I'll probably continue to buy like Xbox centric games, primarily for Xbox. But I wouldn't be surprised if Gears of War E-Day, I wouldn't be surprised if that game does not launch on PlayStation, whether it's on the day of or if it comes out slightly thereafter. And because that's a multiplayer game, I wouldn't be surprised if that one didn't come out day and day because they get the biggest audience. We're obviously seeing that Gears of War Reloaded is launching on the same day across multiple platforms on Xbox and on PlayStation. And for those of you guys who are getting Gears of War Reloaded in August, I'd love to know. And let me know what console you're getting it on because it's going to be cross-platform. But I'm actually going to pick up my copy. Well, I actually already have a copy of it on Xbox anyway. But I'm going to be buying the physical copy. Yes, a physical. They're putting it on a disc for PlayStation. I'm going to be buying that for PlayStation because I think it'd be cool. All right. Yeah, you got it on both. I'll have it on both. But I'm only going to have one multiplayer. Come August 26th, I'm only going to have one active multiplayer account. And it looks like it's going to be PlayStation moving forward. Facts are facts, man. If the brass at Xbox doesn't want my money, then I'm sorry, dude. I'm gonna spend my money with the people that are still giving me the most options. That's all it is, man. Right? So yeah, it'll suck. It'll suck if I can't play. But like I said, I'm not paying Xbox $120 something a year to play multiplayer, and I'm not going to pay PlayStation 120 something to play multiplayer. I've got to pick one or the two. I just don't get a chance to play that much money. Nintendo doesn't bother me. Nintendo's $25 a year. I'm only playing 2 games on Nintendo anyway, so I really don't give a shit with those guys. But I give them credit. At least the Switch 2 is a little better. You can actually talk on the Switch 2 now, if you guys didn't know that. And you can actually do a video chat. If you buy a camera for your Switch, you can actually see your face on the little avatar screens and stuff as you're playing. So it's not quite party chat per se. I guess it is almost like party chat. But, yeah, it's pretty cool. Battlefield 6, yeah, I'll be getting that on the PlayStation as well. Online co-op and Gears, I am so down, dude. I am so down from that. Yeah, I know some of you guys will definitely be getting your copies on Xbox. I know that, but I'm going to try something new for a change. You still got the new RoboCop game wrapped in plastic, getting Gears on PlayStation. That's cool, man. New RoboCop game is fantastic, by the way, so go check that out. El Nini, yes, can't wait for Battlefield. Please, Battlefield, do not let us down. I got high hopes. I don't know if you guys realize it, but Vincent Pella, the guy behind the Call of Duty Modern Warfare games back in the day, the guy who basically made Call of Duty what it is, he's the guy behind Battlefield 6, or at least he's a co-producer, he's up there on the heads of this game. Yeah, it is going to be, yeah. That's right. It's cross-platform compatible. Yes, that's correct. So, so we can play Gears together. We just probably won't be in a party chat. But, yeah, we can play Gears together. That's cool. That'd be a lot of fun. Hopefully there's a game chat option so you can chat with each other in the game. That'd be really cool. The only difference is you'll have to set up a time to see when people are on, right? Unless they're doing like a Ubisoft kind of EA thing where they have like that, like that PC style server so you can see who's actually online or whatever. But yeah, Switch is fun, dude. And that's what Nintendo's always been about. Nintendo's not perfect. Nintendo's pricing is absolutely ridiculous. A lot of stuff with Nintendo. Like I could go on. They have not been perfect by any means, and it's amazing how Nintendo keeps getting away with the shit to get away with. But if there's one thing you can't knock Nintendo for, just simple, fun games that just deliver almost every single time, right? So, yeah. So there you go. But, yeah, guys, tomorrow night it's going to be an amazing finale to Gaming After Dark. We will still continue to do Gaming After Dark from time to time. So if there's a lot of big news, like say, in June when there's a lot of these shows and there, or maybe there'll probably be a Gaming After Dark in the fall when Jeff Keighley does the Game Awards and stuff like that. If the boys are willing to do a show, and it sounds like they totally are, we'll definitely do it. And I might be on their podcast from time to time too, because as far as I know, the Game Complainers, Proto Foxy, You're Wicked Hot, and Sir X-Men plan to continue doing a podcast on Tuesday nights. It'll just be on, I think it's going to be on Proto Foxy's channel, if I'm correct. And it'll be about a half an hour earlier. So, like, don't think that, Newf took off and he's just gone. You're not going to see me. Probably be doing a lot less on camera because I really don't like looking at my fat ass Neanderthal face on camera. But yes, I said that. But yeah, I'll still be here and I'll still be doing lots of streams. I know I've had a lot of you guys in this chat come out and watch my streams of The Last of Us Part 2, and I greatly appreciate that. And to the people that watched it on the replay, been having an absolute blast replaying the remastered edition on the PS5. And Battlefield would be awesome, man. It'd be great if we could get a Battlefield. Battlefield 4 would be fun if we can get a group for that this weekend. The game is not nearly large to download. I know the servers shut down for Battlefield 3. You can't play that online anymore, but I think Battlefield 4 is still up and running to my knowledge. So that would be kind of cool. I'd like to play 4 because 2042 is not that great, to be honest with you. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. Yeah, but we'll see. We'll try to set something up for the weekend. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, they just end stories and reboot with no endings. Well, hopefully there's going to be, I hope there is an official Gears of War 6 at some point. Obviously, they're going back to the beginnings, to the prequel, and I think that largely has to do with the fact that, yes, they're probably planning to bring this franchise over to the PlayStation, and they want people to kind of experience the original style, the horror, they're trying to bring Gears back a little bit because it's sort of gotten away from its roots to some degree, and that's why the game is kind of, still popular, but kind of had a bit of a steady decline. But I also think that Gears is like every other shooting game out there, that it's the victim of a society where attention spans are short, time is limited, and they got to compete with the massive shooters out there. There's going to be the Call of Duties and the Fortnites and the Robloxes, and they got and all these kind of games, and there's a billion free to play games and PUBGs, and there's a lot more competition than there was in the shooting space than what it was when, say, Gears was at its heyday of Gears 3 and to some degree even 4. It's changed a lot since then. Gaming industry right now is really, really claustrophobic from games, So Peter Griffin as Marcus. Oh my God, that would be hilarious. You just busted every deal, Rose. I can't do that voice very good, but yeah. Man. Thoughts on Halo Championship remake? That would be really cool, El Nini. I would be totally down for that. There's been rumors speculating for some time that there is a Halo CE remake in the works, but it might not have multiplayer, or at least online multiplayer. They could have online. It was contained within the game, and that in itself was okay. I would like to see the first Gears game reimagined. Certainly, it would look cool with in the modern day graphics, that sort of shit, Yeah. Hey, everybody, can you see me? Can you hear me? Because I think I had a little internet trouble here. That's it. I got taken down. I got taken down by the X crew up here. Hey, yeah, they must have got me, man. All of a sudden, everything just crashed. It's the first time that's happened in a long time. But yeah, I'm an AI. I will sit here like this for the next couple of hours and do podcast. Could you only imagine this is like your whole face the whole show? I will sit here and do podcast. Nintendo, bad. Xbox, bad. You gotta plug me in. AI Newfie, yeah. God forbid the AI Newfies for sure. Holy shit, that'd be crazy. But anyway, yeah, man, I've been babbling on a lot longer than I thought. I was gonna hopefully trying to keep this to like 30 minutes, and we're at an hour and a half. It's insane. That's what I love about this stuff, man. The time just flies. I wish my job went as fast as this, but that's crazy. But anyway, guys, tomorrow night, you don't want to miss it. Gaming After Dark, 9:30 Eastern, 7:30 Mountain Time. The finale. It's going to be a dynamite show. There is a big surprise coming that you're not going to miss tomorrow night. I can't tell anybody anything about it. The panel doesn't know anything about it, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be worth it. Let's just say we're going to have a special guest. But our guest tomorrow night, as far as an official guest, will be the Wise Old Gamer. Can't wait to have him on. It's going to be a good time. So make sure you come on out and check out the show, guys. It'll be greatly appreciated. Tell all your friends. Again, add me on, like I said, you feel free to add me on Xbox, but I'd say if you got a PlayStation, it'd be better off if you added me there. So on PlayStation, it is Newcomb76. And if you're following me or subscribing or whatever you're doing, or send me a message. When you send a friend request, just say, hey, it's such and such from from the chat, and I'll happy to answer. You know what? And Wise is awesome. Wise is one guy too that obviously attributes like his panel and his show because of us and because of me in particular. He's always been grateful and thankful. And he has Harold, what's going on, man? He's never turned his back on me, and he's got some guys on his panel that I don't necessarily care for a whole lot, but I got nothing bad to say about them either. You know what I mean? That's not the way I roll. I'm not here to create enemies. I just don't know why everybody can't stand my guts just because they don't like an opinion of mine. You know what I mean? I don't like other people's opinions. The difference is I don't jump on your timeline. I don't jump in your podcasts, and I don't collect receipts and cut 10-year-old videos out to try to get a "I told you so" or "I got you" moment. That's not how I roll. I couldn't be bothered. But yeah, man, GKB, that'd be awesome. I would love to see GKB, man. But unfortunately, I don't know. He's I don't know what's going on with him. I haven't even seen She-Wolf a whole lot. Me and Foxy are still friends, but I haven't played a game or spoken with her in a long time. And but GKB would be really cool if I could get him back on a podcast. I would love to do gaming another show with him at some point. It'd be fun, like old times, especially if we could round up a lot of the old crew. But it is what it is. But anyway, we're going to end this particular podcast right now. Thanks to everybody that came out tonight. I hope you are amazing. And we'll see you tomorrow night. And again, game on, guys. Have fun. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you soon. I'll catch you later. Yeah, well, Harold, make sure you go to my channel and make sure you hit the notifications button, dude, and it should tell you when I'm going live. So catch you later on, and we'll catch the Gaming After Dark crew tomorrow night. Take care, everybody. Have fun and game on.